Hello everyone. Hi. I will give another minute for the rest of the parents to join if they are joining. Don't worry about that. Just give another minute or two. Okay. Hi Ludwig Popo. Thank you for joining. Hi Belle. Alright everyone, let's start. Okay, first of all, I would like to say thank you for joining me today on this parenting talk. My name is Rachel Kong and I'm the principal of BNEY Ampang, which is the Beaconhouse Newlands Elias Ampang. Before we start, I have a few rules, housekeeping rules, which is I will need your cooperation to be on mute throughout the session, and there will be a Q&A session towards the end. So if you feel free to also type in your questions in between in the chat box below. And don't worry,
recording in progress.
You might not see many of them online here. It's because they can actually watch it live on YouTube as well. If it's possible, you can switch on a video so that we can have an interactive session as well. All right. Without further ado, let's start. When I was given this task to deliver a talk to our parents or grandparents out there, I think to myself, there's so much to share, but what should I actually share that is interesting, that is so on point that everybody feel, we need this reminder. So here is the topic. Let me share my screen to you. Yes, here. If you can see, great. So here's the topic. The topic is talking and listening to your child. This is actually something that we do every day. We talk, we listen, but are we actually doing it right? Okay. Here's a question for you. Can you recall a memorable conversation you had with someone? Was it yesterday, a day ago, weeks ago, or years ago? Feel free to type it in the chat box below. Then we know when was the last time you had a good conversation with someone. Not just the children, your friends, your spouse, your colleagues. Yeah? So, here. While you're thinking of this memorable conversation of yours, let us watch this video.
First there was PlayStation, aka PS1. Then there's PS2, PS3, and now PS4. And that makes sense. You'd think after Xbox, there'd be Xbox 2. But no. Next came Xbox 360. And now, after 360, comes Xbox One. Why one? Maybe that's how many seconds of thought they put into naming it.
Can you get the butter, please?
However, with the Xbox One, I can control my entire entertainment system using voice commands. Up until now, I've had to use Leonard.
Then get the other one. Pass the butter.
Hang on. I don't feel like you're taking this dilemma seriously.
Fine, Sheldon. You have my undivided attention.
Okay, now, the PS4 is more angular and sleek looking.
No way!
It's true. But the larger size of the Xbox One may keep it from overheating.
You wouldn't want your gaming system to overheat?
No, you absolutely would not. And furthermore, the Xbox One now comes with a Kinect included.
Included?
Yes. Not sold separately. Although the PS4 uses cool new GDDR5 RAM, while the Xbox One is still using the conventional DDR3 memory.
Why would they still be using DDR3? Are they nuts?
See, that's what I thought. But then they go and throw in an ES RAM buffer.
Whoa, wait a second. Who's they?
The Xbox.
You're kidding!
No, I am not. And this ES RAM buffer should totally bridge the 100 gigabit per second bandwidth gap between the two RAM types.
This is a nightmare. How will you ever make a decision?
See, I don't know. What should I do?
Please pass the butter!
Was that a very memorable conversation? Do you wish to have such a conversation with someone? Yeah. So according to research, a good conversation actually includes to have a steady eye contact with someone that you're talking to. They offer you genuine compliments. They contribute to the conversation that the both of you are engaged. They listen and are attentive to you. Sometimes a good conversation are also informative. And most of all, they are enthusiastic about what you have got to say. And it's not just a one-sided thing. The both of you are really engaged. You have good eye contact, you talk to each other, you give your genuine compliments. Those are a good conversation or a memorable ones. Now you might think, did I had a good conversation actually with someone? Or when was the last I had a good conversation with my spouse? Okay. So there is this article published on the BBC. The header said that why the way we talk to children really matters. And the headings are stated, there could be a simple way to help young children's brain improve for the better with long-lasting benefit. And I believe this is something that we all want for our children. The summary of the article said, brain response to early language exposure. Conversational interaction can have a visible benefit on brain development, and children who had more turn-taking conversation were better at language comprehension tasks. We all parents, we all educators, we want this for our children. And now, you think, can you recall when was the last you had a memorable conversation with your child? With all the ticks just now. You don't have to answer me now. You can think about it, or you can type in the chat box. Same. When was the last? Was it yesterday? Was it weeks ago? Days ago? Years ago? That would be very sad. Yeah. Don't have to answer me now. Let's go into these few pointers on how to listen to your child. Here are a few tips, or I can say it's a reminder to all of you because you have been doing it already. So first, you need to stop what you are doing and give your full attention to your child whenever you can. Whether or not you are doing your work, you are cooking, of course you need to make sure that the surrounding and the environment is safe when you need to stop on something. Yeah, you need to show them that you really care. So you stop and then you listen. What if you are busy? What if you really need to get the things done? You will say, I can't stop at that very moment. What you can do is always tell your child, I'll come back to you later. And you have to mean it. You go back to them later. And next, get down to your child's eye level and make eye contact. To have steady eye contact is very important to show them that you care. And tune into your child's body language. Why? Because this can actually tell you a lot. For example, your child might be shaking with anger, or they can be jumping up and down because they're very happy, or they are scared. At some environment, they might turn their back, or they are fidgeting because they are worried or they are scared. So all these body language are really very important. And next is to summarize, to understand what he's saying, your child, he or she. So this can actually help you to understand what they say and to let them understand what they are asking are valid. Because many times children themselves don't understand what they want, or simply they don't have the vocab to express themselves. So when you summarize it for them, then they will be able to understand whether that's what they ask. That will be very helpful for them to understand and for you to understand what they want. Sometimes children get frustrated because we adults, we don't understand them. But in actual fact, that is conversational breakdown. Yeah. And next, use phrases that show you are interested. Let me give you an example. What if today your child come home saying that, "Mom, I saw a flying cat in school"? It can be absurd, but how do you answer to that? You can say something like, "Really? How did that happen?" Or you can say, "Go on, tell me more about it," or "What happened next?" All these phrases are actually to show your child that you really want to know more, and for them to express, for them to learn to speak up what they have experienced outside of your zone, something that they experienced in school. These are really good conversation, especially when you pick your child up after school, or they have went on a party with their friends or play date. Next is to nod, smile, and be affectionate when your child is talking. Just imagine if you're talking to someone and this person are just showing you a very poker face. There's no smile, there's no assurance by nodding. Maybe they will just tell you, okay, How do you feel? You don't feel respected? You will instantly shut yourself down and say that, you know what, it's okay, I don't have to talk to you. It will be the same for a child as well. If you're doing that to them, they will just stop talking totally and not share with you. And you won't want that to happen when they grow up, where you and your child will not have a good conversation. And lastly is try to listen until your child finishes telling a story. We all want this. We all want somebody to listen to us. We do not like to be cut off in between conversation, because you want to feel that you are appreciated, you are respected. It's the same for our children. All right? That's how we listen to our children. And next, how do we talk? After we learn to listen, we learn to talk to them. Yeah? So the first point here is try to say exactly what you mean. Your child might not understand your jokes and exaggeration or sarcasm, because all this might actually hurt their feelings. Children during their preschool age, they do not understand sarcasm, and they might feel very distressed and feel annoyed if they don't understand what you say. There's videos on Facebook where there's these parents reprimanding their child, but the people around them are laughing. So what does that mean? Is that a way to show respect to your child? How would the child feel? Is this really a conversation that I should take it seriously, or is it just for fun? So the children get very confused. And next, make sure your body language and facial expression matches what you're saying. For example, you smile, you make eye contact when you tell your child you love her. You don't tell them that you love them and you turn your back around and start busy with the things that you are doing. That's not how you show that you mean it. Alright? To show that you mean it is really important for our children. And next, if your child can't understand what you say, or if your child can't understand what you're saying, repeat the same message in a couple of different ways. Because children, they might not have enough vocabulary, or their understanding skills are not there yet. So what do? We can use different ways, but it brings out the same meaning. For example, put your bag on the hook. You can tell your child. If your child don't understand, you can repeat by saying, pick up your bag and hook it on. If still doesn't happen, it's still not happening, what do? Break down your conversation, break down your instruction to two. First, pick up your bag. Once your child is done picking up their bag, next, you put it on your hook. Showing gesture are also very important for your child to understand what you want them to do. Alright? And next is to help your child to learn why by explaining things when you are speaking. Many times, Asian parents especially, we will just tell our child, don't do that. But why don't do that? Why? We don't explain. We don't give them a reason. There's no reasoning in it. We all want a reason for something. We don't just do it for the sake of doing it. What if you tell your child, don't ride your bike on the road? That's all? Why? What is the reason behind it? And if I don't ride it on the road, where do I ride it? What should I do? Instead, what we can do is to explain things. For example, we don't ride our bikes on the road because we might get hit by a car, and that's dangerous. You're giving your child information. You might get hit by the car, and it's dangerous. So next, where can your child ride the bike? Give them an option. We can ride it in the house, school compound, where somewhere that's fenced up, so then the car will not come in. This is by giving them suggestion. They can think about it. What are the boundaries? Where can they go? What can they do if they are not allowed to ride their bike on the road, right? And next, encourage your child to take turn when you are talking all together. Everybody is talking, nobody is listening. That's not good. We have to encourage our child, tell them, okay, can I finish first? Or can you finish what you say, then it's my turn. Actually, this will develop a good conversational skills for life, and taking turns to talk actually build your child's listening skills as well. We do not want our child to just babble and start talking everything that they want to say, but no one is listening, and you are not listening as well. That is not a very good conversation, and it's definitely not memorable. And the last part is to give your child specific praise and encouragement for good communicating. For example, thank you for finishing what you have to say. Thank you for explaining. Now I understand what you say. Thank you. I appreciate that. Words like this will encourage your child to speak more and to be more specific of what they have got to say or what they want from you. Yeah. So then now we have learned about how to listen and how to talk to our child. Can you think of this answer? When was the last you have a memorable conversation with your child? With all the pointers just now. To have good eye contact, to listen to them attentively, give them options, say what you mean exactly, not to make fun of what they have got to say, summarize what you understand to them. Did you do all that? Did you have a memorable conversation with them? Let's see how our Duchess do it well. Look at her body language. Look at the eye level. How did she talk to her son? Even when she's reprimanding them, maybe. There is this very focused eye contact, listening attentively. Yeah, she would go lower even your child is agitated or frustrated with something. Are you doing all this during your day-to-day activity or conversation with your child? Okay. So now you have all this, you're equipped with all this, how to listen and how to talk to your child. Here is a scenario for you. You are on a phone call with your boss or your colleague discussing about work. Your child comes to you, start pulling your shirt and start telling you about his or her friends and his or her day in school. What do? You're on the phone, really busy. What can you do? You can type in the chat box if you have an answer. And I would like to see that answer of yours, then we can discuss about it. Oops. Hold on. Let's see. Is there any answer from you? If you are really busy on the phone with someone and your child start pulling your shirt, is there anyone who would like to share your experience? Many times parents will start shooing your child away or say later, but you don't go back to them, or you will just push your child away, or you start asking your husband or your wife, take boy away, take girl away, I'm busy here. But if you think about it, how would your child feel? Maybe what they want to tell you is really important for them, but of course the conversation that you have over the phone is also important. You see? Oh, Isabel is okay. This is her way. She said, "Hey sweetheart, mommy is on the phone. Can I get back to you as soon as I finish?" This is a very good way. Like I said just now, it is your phone call is important. It's the same as your daughter. What she wants to say is also very important. But you have to remember to mean it. So after you have your conversation on the phone, you have to go back to your child. And yeah, White Roses one. Can I finish my call first? Then I talk to you later. That is also a very good way. But you remember to go back to your child. Don't forget. Or you know what? There is a very good tips. Is you can always tell your child, "Sorry girl, mommy is busy now. I might forget that you need to talk to me now. Can you remind me again later? Or can we talk to each other before we sleep at night? To have a conversation before you sleep." It's very, very good to have a good bonding there. Yeah? Okay. Let us continue with the slide. Thank you for sharing your experience. Give me a moment. Okay, here is a video to show you what happened if you have a very important meeting.
Scandals happen all the time. The question is, how do democracies respond to those scandals?
And what will it mean for the wider region? I think one of your children has just walked in. I mean, shifting sands in the region. Do you think relations with the North may change?
I would be surprised if they do. Pardon me.
That's right.
My apologies.
What's this going to mean for the region?
My apologies. South Korea's.
Yeah. So this man here, he's having a very important live stream on BBC News where the child start, walking in happily. And after this interview, they had a follow-up interview where the dad actually explained that the door is not locked for a reason, because he wanted his children to know that, you can come and talk to me whenever you want. But at the same time, you have to learn to respect where there's time where it is really important for me to have a meeting. I'll talk to you later. And he will always remember to get back to the child later. But of course, this is, out of his expectation, is beyond what he had planned. Yes. Here is a bonus for you. Besides learning how to listen and to talk to our children, here's how to answer. We know our children tends to have a lot of why. Why this? Why that? Why? So here is how to answer the why. First, you have to take your child's questions seriously. Because although we know sometimes they are asking why just for the sake of asking why. But there are many times where they ask why because they really want to know the answer. So you have to take their questions seriously. Take time to give the real answer. You don't give them answer that is not right, or you give them answer that is so shallow that is no point of answering. We don't want our children to end up with asking questions they don't mean to ask. We want them to think while we reply to their questions. We want them to have put on their thinking skills also. Why is it such a way? And if you don't know the answer to your child's question, you can always find out the answer together. We as teachers as well, children tend to ask us questions that is beyond their age, or I can say is beyond what we expect them to ask. What we do is, we are all humans. We are not God. We don't know everything. What we can do is we can search on Google. Google is our good friend. We can always tell our children that, okay, you know what? We can search on Google together because I don't know the answer to this. This will help your child to also learn about problem solving skills. It will help your child to solve problem on their own. So as they grow older, as now the technology is just so simple for the children, easily accessible to them, they can start to search on Google on their own. But of course, you have to monitor them very closely to be careful with the app that they are using or the website that they go to. So here is how to answer your child's questions. Of course, I understand where parents will say, my child will just ask question, why? But actually they are not listening to my answer. Or even if you try your best to answer it accordingly, your child is just not listening, or they are not appreciating your answer. What you can do is, when your child asks a question on why, make sure you are very focused at that moment. Sit down with your child if you need to explain it properly or explain further, or you can tell your child again, let's have a conversation later. We will talk about this later, but always remember to go back. Yeah. Finally, before we end, here is why it's important to listen and to talk to our child. It's actually to improve your bond with them. While the both of you sit down together and talk together, this will improve the bond. Like I said earlier, if you have a conversation before you sleep, it is not just about bedtime stories, it is not just about singing rhymes before you sleep. It is also very important to talk and for your child to express their feeling. And encourages them to listen to you, and it helps them to form relationship and build self-esteem because they get the chance to express, they get a chance to talk, and they realize that they will know if you respect them by listening to them. And of course, to learn about mutual respect, to take turn to talk, to understand what this person is feeling, to take in whatever they say seriously. This is to show respect. And that is all on listening and talking to your child. Thank you. I hope you have get something from there. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand and you can unmute yourself, or you can type into the chat box below. I'll try my very, very best to answer you as an educator. Is there any question from the floor? Oh, let's see. Okay, let me expand this. Okay, thank you, Belle. I like how you get the child to remind us. Yes. And Lisa here, balancing work from home and then managing my child at the same time can be challenging. I feel I'm not being attentive to my child needs because I'm unable to focus solely on them. How do I find a good balance? That's a very good question. The answer can also be the same. Find a time, appropriate time. You can be busy the whole day. We understand mom and dad to work from home is something not easy to deal with. You can always tell your child, this period of time, mom is really busy with work. Although I understand that you need to talk, but I cannot attend to you now. What about we set a time in the afternoon or before you sleep to have a routine or to set a time? It's just like you setting an appointment or setting a very important meeting with your colleagues or your bosses. It can be the same for your child as well. Again, reminder, do not forget what you promise. Always keep your promise that you will talk to your child. Yes. Is there any other question? Many times it is not about just answering to your child's questions. It is also you referring back the question to them. When they ask why, if you feel they have the ability to answer the question, you can refer the question back to them. Why do you think it is so? How can we find out the answer? Or how can we do this? What do you think is a very good question? It allows your child to have very good thinking skills in the future. It also help our child to have critical thinking skills. It is something that is very important during this time, and it's helped them in the future when they are out in the working world. It is not just about books. It is not just about worksheets and writing. Yeah. Any more questions? Here, as a teacher, I'm doing online lesson. I see parents taking turns sitting with their child, attending to the child's needs, so the child understand and respect the parent's space and time to work. Yes, this is true for children to learn that. They will take turn and then they will know, have a routine for the child, or you talk to your child ahead. It is very important. Many times is that the problem that we have with children feel very upset about something. It is because we do not give them a heads up as adults. It is really important for our children to know what happens next, and it's not just going straight into it and not giving them a heads up of what is going to happen, which is why some children they need the routine. They need to know what happened next to prepare themselves mentally. It is not just adults need that, children as well. All right. I think that is all the questions that we have for today. And I think my time to share is up. I hope you have a great session with me today. If you have any other questions, you can feel free to email me on our email, or you can call our school if you have any inquiry to know more about BNEY or our Beaconhouse preschool in general. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for joining Beaconhouse. Thank you everyone. Goodbye.
Recording stopped.